Ice Cube is more than just an icon. His voice helped shape American society, and we will never forget the soul of Friday or Straight Outta Compton. He got a start in one of America's worst neighborhoods and made history in music, movies, and books through hard work, honesty, and a fire that never went out. Many people were moved by his story, but each win was bittersweet enough to break most people. Now that he is 56, many people are curious about what storms are still circling him and what weight lies behind the strength that has carried him for decades. His story starts when he was just a boy named O'Shea Jackson growing up in South Central Los Angeles, before there were cameras, stages, or stadiums that were packed to the brim. Ice Cube was born in Westmont on June 15, 1969. It was a tense neighborhood, and the sun never seemed bright enough to make things better. Cracked pavements were lit up by streetlights, and families got used to the strange silence that came over their homes every night. Hosea Jackson, his father, worked long hours taking care of the fields at UCLA. He walked back home with the tired steps of a man who had a lot of work to do. His mother, Doris, worked full shifts at a hospital to keep her kids safe from the outside world. Even though money was never plentiful, they made the most of every dollar to build security in a world that seemed unstable outside their front door. The steady beating of an old clock on the wall and the sound of cutlery tapping against plates made it hard to talk at their dinner table. The night outside was broken up by sounds that let people know that danger was always close. Ice Cube and his older brother Clyde lived in the same world. They were part of a creative family that was related to artists like Del the Funky Homo Sapien and Cam. But not even the Roots could protect him from what was coming. When he was only 12 years old, the event that shaped his life happened. The shocking death of his sister Beverly in her late teens. The family felt like they were falling apart when she died. Ice Cube remembered the sound of his mother's knees giving out when she heard the news. She had her hands over her face, as if she wanted to hide a truth that was too painful to face. His dad just stood there and stared at the floor, looking for something solid to hold on to. Cube stood on the sidewalk with his hands in his pockets on the day of Beverly's funeral and watched the car drive off in quiet. That was the kind of quiet that no child should know. It crept into his life and stayed. He told people years later that losing Beverly had changed the way he saw every morning. It taught him that someone could kill him in an instant, for no reason. After that, the weeks were hard. It felt like sadness had moved into their home and taken a seat at the kitchen table. It seemed like not even the tiniest bit of laughing could get through. His mom looked out a window for hours on end. His dad became less loud. Ice Cube walked slowly through the house, as if he didn't want to stir up a memory he wasn't ready to face. He became old before it was time. He walked through South Central with the awareness of someone who knew the world didn't offer anything. Every street became a warning that safety wasn't a given. Cracked pavement, hot summers, and cold nights. He felt the weight of his sadness at school. Even hearing other kids laugh made him feel like he wasn't really there, like it was from a different world. But pain often brings out the best in people. Around age 14, he almost by chance found writing to be the only thing that made him feel like he could breathe. Because a friend told him to write some lines. The moment he did, something inside him opened up. He didn't expect the words that came out to be so honest and powerful. He had ribs that looked like they had been there for years. At a small desk lit by a dim light, he wrote late into the night. Writing wasn't just a way to express yourself. It was a way to stay alive. Everything that went through his mind, his fears, his memories, the beat of his neighborhood, the pain of losing someone, flowed into his lyrics. He learned how to write from his pain, not from a teacher. He was able to keep his voice steady when he wrote. He took a bus every morning from South Central to Woodland Hills and watched the city go by through the window. Taft High School seemed like a different world. It had clean floors, calm conversations, and kids who didn't worry all the time. It was hard for him to walk the halls because he was sad and trying to balance two worlds that never touched. By 1987, he was looking for security. So he went to the Phoenix Institute of Technology to study architectural drawing. He followed rules, stayed focused, and was very good at what he did. But the cracks in his heart were too big for even the straight lines of plans to fix. He saw that no plan could put his life back together. So after a year, he left. He didn't do it to protest, but because he needed something strong to hold the weight he carried. When he got back to Los Angeles, he turned to singing with even more passion. He made C with his cousin Sir Jinx. I played at outdoor parties where Dr. Dre played the turntables. Those nights were lively and loud, not at all like the heavy silence that was waiting at home. Cube's sharp delivery and the weight of his words caught Dr. Dre's attention. Cube sold Boys in the Hood to Eazy-E when he was only 16 years old. It was a big deal that changed his life. It was the first time someone from outside his neighborhood thought he was strong. Cube felt the world change, even though fame was still a long way off. The road ahead wasn't easy, though. A lot of people didn't like rap, and people from his part of Los Angeles were thought to be stereotypical. Some people made snap decisions about him before they even heard a single word. But after Beverly died, rejection didn't seem so bad. It got darker, deeper, and more exact as he wrote. His voice was shaped by everything in South Central. The hum of the lighting, the sound of sirens far away, and the memory of quiet dinners at home. From that sound, he could not stop rising. Things went really well. When he joined in, the most powerful pen in the group was W.A. He wasn't just another rapper. When Straight Outta Compton came out in 1988, it woke up the whole country. His words didn't make me laugh. They made me think. But the contracts that led to the success tell a harsher story. Cube was only making $32,000, but the record sold a lot of copies. Even though he was reliable, he was given bad deals. He left in 1989. Not a map, not a promise, nothing but honesty. His solo records showed why he had been so important the whole time. American Kaka's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, and The Predator are all brave, real, and important movies. At age 23, he was changing the way people in America talked. But being great is heavy. Long classes, not getting enough sleep, and constant stress got to him. The business moved quickly, and it hurt to see new acts get big. Being a pioneer means knowing that the spotlight will finally move on to someone else. Hollywood turned into the next battleground. One thing that director John Singleton saw in him was something real. Boys in the Hood made him a famous star that no one could ignore. But acceptance wasn't a given. People saw only a rapper when he went into places where performers were not present. He learned how to make films the same way. He learned how to stay alive, one step at a time. Friday then came. He wrote it and starred in it, an independent movie that became an important part of culture. He made Barbershop, Are We There Yet?, 21, Jump Street, and other shows through Cube Vision. As things got better, the stakes also raised. Meetings went late into the night. Budgets were like bombs that were about to go off. Since he was going up, the pressure got tighter. He began his most risky project, the Big Three Basketball League, in 2017. People didn't believe in him, but he kept going. He negotiated contracts, built stadiums, fought lawsuits, and ran a league without any money coming in for a long time. He kept going even though he spent nights looking at numbers and wondering if the risk would ruin him. He had learned that you have to make a door if there isn't one. But storms have come back slowly in the last few years. In 2021, he dropped out of the movie Oh Hell No and turned down a $9 million part because he didn't want to get vaccinated. He didn't fight or preach. He just stuck to his choice. It hurt to lose money. But what hurt even more was slowly realizing that Hollywood had moved on without him. Not as a punishment, but to kill time. He saw younger stars take over roles that he used to have. He could feel the change in places where his name wasn't the first one said. He made fun of the fact that Hollywood changes like the weather, but there was real weight to that joke. When he opened the door, the world wasn't there for him for the first time. Still, he dealt with this season the same way he dealt with every storm, calmly, steadily, and without a break. It's a loud whisper to say, your time has passed at 56. But Cube never let other people decide when things happened. He left N.W.A. Naysayers said he would fail. He was questioned when he did something. People said it was impossible for him to start Big Three when he did. He always chose to get up. Some cuts don't bleed. Instead, they stay inside you and change the way you breathe. But Cube knew a long time ago that being strong doesn't make noise. It stays the same. It wasn't betrayal, pressure, or lost jobs that hurt him the most in his career. It was losing Eazy-E, a brother he never got to make peace with. They began when they were young and had papers and cheap microphones. Fame made them stronger, money made them fight, and pride shut them up. Then the call from the hospital changed everything. Eazy-E was dying because of problems with his AIDS. Cube got there, but he got cold outside the door. He wasn't sure what to say. After hours, Eazy was gone, taking with him the last chance to fix what was wrong. Cube cried alone, carrying a heavy weight of sorrow that would never go away. He can still feel the loss of that person on his walk today. It reminds him to make peace while the door is still open. But his family was the thing that held him up through every storm. In the end, Kimberly Woodruff, the woman who had walked by him before, became his love. In 1992, when they were young and having a hard time, they got married. At night, they would count their food money. 5 kids came after, and each one changed their own path. But fame meant long stays away. Kimberly ate dinner by herself. There were no birthdays. When Cube got home from missing his son's party one night, his family was asleep, the balloons were falling, and his son still had a wrapped gift in his hands. Something inside him broke at that quiet moment. He knew that even though he had everything, he was losing the most important thing. He changed little by little. He showed up. That's right. He stayed. Their kids, O'Shea Jr., Daryl, Karima, Deja, and Sharif, put their parents back together without meaning to. Cube saw his own life on film in 2015, when his son played him in Straight Outta Compton. In ways he didn't expect, seeing his past through the eyes of his child healed him. Their home isn't perfect, but it's warm and real, and it's full of memories of laughs, fights, forgiveness, and love that got them through the hardest years. Cube says that his family taught him how to love, not fame. At 56 years old, Ice Cube is a live example of hard work, responsibility, and persistence. It is thought that he is worth about $160 million. He doesn't think of his house in Marina del Rey, his longtime home in Encino, or his garage full of classic and expensive cars as signs of excess. For Cube, they show how far he has come since the days of cracked sidewalks and flickering lighting. But the doors he built are what will remember him, not the homes he built or the money he made from films. He brought his dreams to life. In the Big 3 League, that keeps getting bigger. In the projects he quietly backs, he helps young creators and makes way for people who need a chance. Things are quiet at home. Sunlight coming in through large windows in the morning. Kathy reads in the kitchen. Cube checks for Big 3 news. There are times when the house is full of kids, grandchildren, and cousins. On other days, they're the only ones on their land at sunset, walking around and being thankful for the life they built together. He still does things, works, and moves forward. He is a husband, father, and grandfather when he gets home, though. Now, that part means more to him than any attention ever could. Hollywood has changed around him over time, but the man in the middle hasn't been shaken. If anything, it has made him better. It's clear to him now that he knows storms will always happen, but he knows how to handle them. His story shows us that every life has ups and downs, and that the best people are often the ones who keep getting stronger when everyone else thinks they'll fail. Ice Cube's journey stays with you because it's so human. It's full of love, loss, strength, sorrow, and starting over. A warning that what makes you strong is not how loud you yell, but how quietly you keep going. You are welcome to stay in touch, share your thoughts, and keep the spirit of these stories living if this story touched you in any way. May your home be calm, your health be stable, your days be bright, and your heart be filled with all the good things it dreams of. Ice Cube's story doesn't end with accomplishments or news stories. It goes on during the quiet times that most people don't notice. The time after everyone has left. Sometime when the lights go out and he is by himself with the truth of everything he has been through. These are the places, away from fame and noise, where real legacies are made. Cube has been more open about what's important to him in recent years. Not prizes, not sales, not fashion. The most important thing is peace, which he fought for most of his life. From living in a world where danger was always close by, he learned how valuable peace is. Making it for his family became his most important goal. He thinks a lot about the father he saw come home every day, tired from work, but determined to do what was right. That set a better model for Cube than any music teacher could have. As a child, his mother taught him discipline. She raised her kids with a quiet strength that helped him raise his own. Their love wasn't loud, but it lasted a long time. He learned that real strength isn't sudden, but steady. He can now see the generations he helped rise when he sits with his kids and grandkids. He can see the effects of sacrifices made many years ago. It took him late nights in the studio, long tours, and many acting jobs, but they all paid off in the end, so that his kids won't have to start from scratch. He did more than build a business. He made a base for his family tree that was strong enough for the next branches. There are softer sides to his songs that you can hear even when he's a grandfather. He hears more. He moves more slowly. It's not the other way around. The younger ones pull him into their world. When you watch a man whose words are known for being angry tie a shoelace or help a toddler climb onto his lap, it makes you feel grounded. It shows how a life went from being hard to ending up with something soft and one. Cube's professional goal has changed, but it hasn't gone away. The Big Three keeps getting bigger every year, bringing in fans from all over the world and earning respect in the sports world. He stays involved in everything, from negotiating with players to making sure the league follows the rules. He is aware of the responsibility that comes with being a leader in a field where few people thought he fit. But he keeps going, showing once more that reinventing himself is not a phase for him. It's how he lives. He still likes films, but only when he wants to. Cube is no longer interested in jobs or trends. He works on projects that interest him, stories that show him as he really is, not as the business would have him be. He is more honest now that he is older, and he cares more about that than about being liked. He doesn't think twice about leaving a job if it doesn't fit his personality. That confidence comes from standing up for what's right for decades. He still feels most at ease when he's making music. He still writes. He still makes music. He still comes on stage with the same fire that drove him when he was young. It's not the same now, though. It's not driven by survival or anger. It comes from being thankful. The lyrics always tell me that he got out of a bad place that many people never get out of. He still has that spark for his fans, many of whom grew up with him. They see not only the rapper who made hip-hop what it is today, but also the man who lived his truth through every part of his life. As a boy, his voice was sharp with the pain of losing too much. Now, as an adult, it has the weight and knowledge of someone who has lived a full and honest life. Cube stays steady through it all. He never let fame make him forget what a boy he was. He still remembers South Central's broken streets, the nighttime sirens, and how the dinner table was quiet after Beverly died. Those memories don't weigh him down. Instead, they remind him of where his power came from. He always says the same thing when people ask him what keeps him going: duty. He had to take care of his art, the audience, his family, and himself. Duty to tell the truth, even if things change. Being responsible in a business that is based on lies. Because he was honest, his story speaks to people of all ages. Younger fans respect how strong he is. Older fans like how consistent he is. People who know how heavy life can be can relate to his journey, including the losses, the wins, and the quiet times when he chose to stand back up. Cube is focused on making room for new opinions to be heard as he moves forward. He gives money to young artists, backs projects in areas that need them, and guides the next generation of storytellers. He knows what it was like for Dre to have faith in him when he was 16. He knows how important a single chance can be, so he gives other people those chances. One medium is no longer enough to describe his impact. Movies, sports, work, family, and music are all part of it. It's not a single accomplishment, but a lifetime of choices, some good, some bad, but all honest. And maybe that's what his story is all about, being honest. Ice Cube has always been honest, which isn't always easy to do in public. He said things that other people were afraid to. Some people would have stayed quiet, but he left. When the business wouldn't let him use their lane, he made his own. He stayed true to who he was from the start through lost loved ones, fame, stress, and getting older. He had some hard times in his life. Many of them broke my heart. But each chapter taught him something, and he used what he learned in other things. Today, he stands as a man who has lived through storms big and small, times of glory and times of doubt, but he still rises with purpose. Even after all these years, his home is still his heart. She saw through the fame to the man behind it, and she still walks with him. Their marriage made it through the chaos of Hollywood, the loneliness of long trips apart, and the stress of having to take care of everyone else. Their relationship is stronger than ever now that they've chosen each other over the years, even when everyone else tried to separate them. They now have a routine that is easy, normal, and precious. Nights with films, family meals, takes walks at dusk, holidays with lots of laughs, and the sound of kids running through the halls. The kind of life he thought he would never have. When the day is over and Ice Cube is alone with his thoughts, he knows that he worked hard for every bit of peace he now has. They got there not by luck, but by working hard. Through hard work, not by taking shortcuts. Not by being comfortable, but by being brave. This is the most important thing to learn from his story. Being strong doesn't mean never falling. When something tries to break you down, you have to choose to build yourself back up. It has to do with moving forward even when things around you change. You should look out for the people who make your life worth living. Ice Cube's life shows that a man can leave a lasting mark on the world, even if he came from rough neighborhoods. Proof that pain can give you a reason to live. Proof that people can be honest even in places where lies are common. Proof that family is more important than anything else and can save a man in ways that wealth never could. Don't let this story end without leaving you with one thought. Your trip can still rise, no matter where it starts or what storms it faces. You can still make your story into something strong. You can also come out on the other side, like Ice Cube. Not only standing, but also stronger, steady, and not swayed by the winds that tried to break you.